Coming on the carpet now is Lot 1. This is your grand champion grand champion crossbred gilt of the 2024 Oklahoma Youth Expo. This gilt comes to us from Kaysen Young. She's an out of a Trumpet Nomad never before sow and bred by Mullet Genetics.
You know, some show pigs look like winners, some show pigs look like generators, but there aren't very many that are both. This gilt is that. When she came through the ring the other day, I wish we could have videoed Troy's face. It said it all. He was absolutely in love. It was so clear, so obvious. When he's into one and he's after one, it's really, really obvious, and his face said it all. We knew the show was over with. This gilt is impeccable in terms of her skeleton. That kind of head design relative to her bone, second to none. The value of this gilt is exponential. She's also got a really tremendous underline. There's production here. There's hair. There's bone. All the things we're drawn to, she's got it.
I don't know what else you say about her, Brock. I've seen some record-selling animals in my time, and if this one don't contend or pass it, then I guess I don't know anymore. This one here is just so unique, so special. You really ain't much other to say than that.
Well, I would agree, both Brock and Bobby. I mean, this was one of the deals. When this one hit the ring, I think you could see it all over Troy. I mean, there's just certain animals and there's certain species of livestock of all kinds that when you see them that are unique, they stand out. And that's certainly what we had here in this particular individual. We see them quite often that have bone. We see them that have power. We see them that have big hind legs. We see them square. But yet at the same time, we don't see them that come out of the top of their blade the way they do. They have the head carriage that this one has. Her feet, her toes, they're all impeccable. As you guys said, you talk about her from every angle, however you want to look at her, she offers tremendous uniqueness. That's Lot 1. She's your grand champion 2024 Oklahoma Youth Expo Night of 100 Stars gilt. There she is. Lot number 2 here coming in. This is your reserve dark cross, Isaiah Gomez. This gilt here would be a buckle up tell-all from Chad Reynolds.
What an animal here that comes in the ring now. That's just an incredible piece of livestock. As I stood to the side of that gilt when she first came in, she's incredibly striking. That kind of bone and flexibility with that look, that kind of pairing really looks expensive and super high quality to me. And one thing that I think is really neat about that gilt, she was a very, very nice baby that sold at Lackey Livestock's a patio sale that they've got. And the picture of her looks exactly like she does now. She's basically just a bigger version of what she was as a little gilt. And to me, that makes her super genuine and something that would be really a neat breeding hog for someone.
Congratulations to her and her family on an awesome week. This gilt here is sired by Top It Off on a jet black sow and bred by Goss Livestock.
Man, this one's neat. It seems like there's certain breeds out there, whenever they tie it all together, they're just so hard to get around. And I think Berkshires are one of those breeds. They bring some far-reaching pieces, and when you raise hogs and show pigs in general like this, it's hard to tie it all together. And I feel like this gilt really does that. So much stoutness, so much agility to her rear leg, her moderation and length of body combined with her extra shape and dimension. She really has all the expensive things going on. It's really not surprising why she won the entire Purebred Gilt Show.
Yeah, again, coming from the Goss firm here, and we saw all the crossbreds they laid in the sale, and here they're going to start off the purebred drive here. And this gilt here is just I don't know. When she came in, I thought she won for fun, and it was a heck of a drive, and that's saying something, I think, when this gilt just stood out that much above the quality that was out there in that purebred drive. All those gilts represented their breed so well. but this one here is special. And just to talk a little bit about her bottom side, this Gilt is a mate to reserve champion Berkshire at Denver. She's a mate to the, I believe it's Over the Moon boar at Isaac Beeman's, the new boar. That's a litter mate to this Gilt. And I saw on Facebook there that Isaac had him there and their litter mates. So that boar's a really popular one too right now, I think. So, this Gilt here, just I don't know what else you say, Brock. She does it all. She's moderate. She's big rib. She's sound. She's square. You going on. She's just a special creature.
And then we follow up next in our second Gilt will be Lot 4. This is Ava Gilchrist. This is the reserve supreme overall of the purebred show, back-to-back Berkshires. Again, sired by the Top It Off boar, the popular Burke boar standing there, premium blend, back on a jet black sow, bred by Decker Show Pigs.
As we mentioned earlier, as we went through those crosses, Decker has a kind, and he definitely selects for certain things. And this looks like a Decker Berkshire to me. Her look from the side is absolutely insane, especially within this breed. Just her youthfulness and attractiveness up and through her front end is so interesting to me. This Gilt is really genuine and honest in her composition and shape. Brings so much bone and foot size to the table. Like from the side, that Gilt is incredibly striking. And I'm not sure what age this Gilt is, but I love her maturity pattern. She looks youthful. She looks attractive. She looks like she's on the way up, but has that kind of rear leg to go along with it. Really, really interesting breeding animal.
Yeah, she's August born and looks like it. Tremendous Gilt here as well.
This here is Lot 5. This would be our third dark cross. Audrey Cooper. She's a turn and burn. Skull and Bones, bred by Steve and Mark Gray.
This one here really impresses me when she kind of comes right at you. Tremendous chest floor in this Gilt. She's opened up extremely good in her skeleton, proper width front and rear when she goes away. Gilt's got a really good rib cage in her, a big back Gilt that's really got a good level design and level hip. A power Gilt, I think, when you get up on top of her and get behind her, the kind that could really throw those barrows, those market-winning barrows as you get up on top and behind her.
This is Gilta's, I believe, champion Division II there. Her skeleton and just genuineness is really interesting to me. Super broad, super opened up, as Mr. Liston said, but still balances so well from the side. And I think it's neat from a pedigree standpoint. This is a Gilt that came from Steve and Mark Gray, and they raised the boar she's out of. And I would assume they would raise the sow as well. So you really get a piece or a chance here to buy something from a firm. And I think that's really important here when it comes to just good, honest stock on the bottom side.
Next Gilt coming in the ring would be Lot 6. This is Addison Thompson. Addie's Gilt is a trick daddy, stay classy, and bred by McGuire Livestock.
Really neat pedigree and a neat Gilt on foot here that comes in next. Her mother would be a litter mate to Stay Classy, or she is a Stay Classy and a litter mate to Steel Force. There that stood at top cut. That boar did a really, really nice job, and even beyond that, really an impressive set of sows that are on the bottom side of this particular Gilt. Those hogs came from Steel Show Pigs for those of you that are interested in that. And as you look at this Gilt visually, just her bone and the motion to her rear leg is really makes her a standout from my perspective.
Yeah, this is the reserve grand overall Gilt there at the Coba show and the champion dark cross there. And that was an impressive Gilt there, I thought, back a month ago, and she's even more impressive now as she opened up in her rib cage. Her center rib carries all the way back, and she's just got a lot of room in there inside that skeleton and still yet functional on both ends of her skeleton. Just a really nice Gilt here, I think, to have a part, be able to purchase.
Lot 7 here is our first light crossbred. This is from Emma Throgmorton. This is a real talk, white noise. That sow's a litter mate to Wham and bred by Ham Livestock.
This Gilt was the champion in the light crossbred division, and it, so many times those light crosses as they come in, the champions in that group and that particular division, to me, they could compete with any of the dark crossbreds, and this Gilt definitely did that. As she was out there competing for overall in the commercial division, she held her own in terms of bone and look and agility and mass, and as she comes out here, I think it's pretty easy to see why she won the light crossbreds.
This one here is really unique to me up through her front end and where her neck attaches, and from her shoulder forward, she's got a great look. Gilt is just really comfortable out here moving across the ring. Everything's going forward. Really nice one here in our champion light cross.
Here we go. One of the crowd favorites of all time, Lot 8 here. This will be our champion spot from Tanner Frankie. She's a unicorn crossover and bred by Merle Farms.
Todd, I judged this Gilt at the Stillwater Jackpot, and I asked that young man, I put him down after the show if he was going to sell his Gilt, and he said, hopefully at OYE in the sale. And I said, well, but I wouldn't. He said, I do really like this Gilt, and I said, I do too. And I said, if she makes a sale, I'm going to look her up. Well, I didn't have to look very far. She was a champion spot, and rightfully so. This one is you know, I've got a few spot sales laying around there, and I know how hard this is to do, to build a spot with this kind of skeleton, and I'm telling you, it's impeccable. It may be as good a skeleton as I've seen all year. And you look at her angles and the way it's laid in there, her length of hip and stride is impeccable. Her length of front end and sow look up front is like none other. And she's got proper width coming and going, a great underline, good depth of rib. This one here's special, and I don't care what breed you talk about, she can play at any arena.
That one is really good. She may break the record that JD and I helped set a few years ago. And just if you're creative out there, she's pretty dark pigmented. I think you can kind of make some multiple type breeds with this one if you're interested in such things. Oh, she was also reserve grand at the Oklahoma Bred Show. She's been winning all year.
We have lot 9 coming in. This is our champion land race. Braxton Willis. This Gilt is a timings right, inside track, and bred by Carter Schulte.
I don't get to look at many land race, but it seems like when I judge in the Midwest, they show quite a bit up there. And if I'm judging something up there, let's bring land race like this in the future to me. I feel like this one could really get along anywhere she goes. Really a powerful kind of Gilt that's really got some big legs for a land race. I feel like that's one thing that when I get into the land race business or land race breeds that I find maybe they aren't quite stout enough, but this one is definitely that, with a really good look and a powerful kind of rib cage and top in her.
Brock may not remember, but he cut his teeth on the landrace breed as a young pup there in 4-H and showed several of them. And this one here is a very, very good one. If you're in the landrace breed and you got a sow that looks like this out in the pasture, you're going to be pretty happy. I mean, this thing is built for speed. She is not messed up anywhere. Her skeleton is really good. She's got a look, I think, a really high quality, a really good one here.
Next one in here will be lot 10. This is our champion Chester Gilt from Laney Allen. This Gilt is a hired gun, whiplash, bred by Ty Jester and family.
This is one memorable Chester Show project right here. I saw a video or a picture, I should say, on Facebook of a few weeks ago, and I was ready to see this one here because, you know, anytime you find a Chester with legs and mobility like that, you have to pay attention. That kind of stoutness is so memorable from my perspective, and as I look at the pedigree, I'm really not surprised she's a hired gun. Hired gun's a WD-40 son, and that hog, both of those hogs have been getting along really, really well, and honestly, when I'm at Danner's and I'm looking at both of those hogs side by side, I like hired gun. I really love my pigs out of that boar. They fed really, really well. And then you transition to what this Gilt has to offer. That one's big time.
This one's front shoulder, stoutness, forearm, and foot size is impeccable. As you look at, that's what stands out to me on this one. And as she gets around the ring here, she's flexible on both ends of her skeleton. She's so powerful up there. She could throw a herd board in a minute, I think. This one's squared her pin from behind, and she goes away. Just a really, really special Chester Guilt.
Lot number 11 hits the ring here, and this is our champion, Duro, and she comes to us from Gabby Todd. She's an insider trading green bottles and bred by Olson Farms, Blaine and Christy Olson.
This is a really good Duro Guilt. That breed is something that I really enjoy being in, and as I was standing there ringside, we had a lot of Guilt show there, and whenever that Guilt came in, I knew they were about to beat all of mine. That one is really, really good in terms of skeleton, stoutness of feature. She's so good and honest in her skeleton, both in terms of the size of her frame, but also the length of her body and the extra stoutness to her feet and legs, and has a little different pedigree on the top side of things. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I think that's neat, and I'm okay with that. This Guilt can do a lot of different things. She can make bears. She can continue to make Guilts. That's a timeless kind right there within this breed.
This one here is pretty unique, and I think, in the term that how she does that head and neck out of that shoulder on that kind of body is very hard to do, and it just comes out of there with a show pig look, and you come back into a sow's body that's deep and deep-sided, impeccable in her skeleton, sound, square, with a huge tail root. I'm in on that one.
We start off our Herefords with lot 12. This is your champion from Hudson Long, Versace on a stoner, bred by Ansley Barks. I'll just say before we comment, thought we had an extremely, extremely good Hereford show there this year, all the way through in terms of depth and quality and numbers throughout the entire show. Yet this one headlines the sale come Tuesday night. Next Gilt in is lot 13. She's your champion Hampshire from Madison Walker. She's a Viper on a hands down, bred by Savage Genetics.
Well done, Savage. This is a really, really nice Gilt, and Madison's had a really nice show career with this Gilt. She was champion there at Coba, and then you look to this Gilt, and it's really not a surprise to any of us why this Gilt won. Just a really heavy structured, mobile kind of Gilt. That's the right kind of rear leg, regardless of breed. That's the kind of rear leg that they need. Super stout, and she looks like a female up and through her front end. Really hairy, well presented, great rib cage, and an awesome shape to her back.
Here's a Hampshire Guilt here that gets you excited if you're a Hampshire enthusiast. And here's one I think it even make crosses better. This one here is high quality. This one's a Hampshire Guilt that you look at her from the side and it's just impeccable in her silhouette. Stoutness of skull, height of shoulder. The way she ties into that neck is so unique in this breed, and yet she's flat forearm. She's big forearm. A Gilt that's sound and pliable. Run her into the crosses, and you're thinking you're going to be in the top end. Just a really, really good one here.
Next Gilt in is lot 14. This will be your champion Poland China Gilt. She is a reptile house black mamba bred by Cooper and Flash.
You know, Cooper and Flash, they've got a really strong set of Polands over there, and they've had them for a long time. And this gilt really represents what they like to do, just in terms of having a quality look up and through her front end, a big, massive forearm, good-bodied kind of gilt. It's just got genuine, honest muscle shape, flexible type of a rear leg, and a good look from the side. And I think brings a pretty good color for the breed as well.
Yeah, this was the Southwest District Bronze Poland Guilt, and she won her county there respectfully. And the dam was a full mate to the 2021 OYE Reserve Grand Overall Purebred Guilt that come through the exchange sale there that year. And this one's mom come to the exchange sale there that year. So I think this one's pretty special for this breed, guys. And if you're into making Polands and into making Poland barrows or boars or whatever you want to do, this one here can get it done. She's moderate in her length and boxy. She's sound and athletic. She's got a long hip. She does some things that's hard to do in the Poland breed with her bone and structure and stoutness. I think you need to look in here if you want to get serious Poland, guys, because this one here is a good one.
Lot 15 comes in. This is your champion, Yorkshire. She is from Janelle Huff. This gilt here is a walks alone turning point and bred by McAlexander's.
I think one that really represents Yorkshire's very, very well. And this last summer, I was at the Missouri State Fair open show. McAlexander had a boar there I was really impressed with. So it's no surprise they've got another one here that's winning in the Yorkshire breed. That gilt's muscle and look and pizzazz from the side really represents Yorkshires of old from my perspective. This is one that I think you can make bears with or turn around and bring some more gilts back here next year.
Yeah, really a unique one here for his stoutness of skull and then giving you a presence from the side. I really like this gilt. She's modern in her makeup, yet sound in her makeup. Really good tail head coming out of that rump. Just a really nice gilt here.
Lot 16 is the next one to come in, and this is Thomas Grapando's Out of the Shadows Lampoon, bred by John Pullins.
Really an impressive spot female in terms of width and power. Just so much shoulder shape and body dimension in that gilt. The shape to her forerib is very impressive. And I know Mr. Liston has mentioned 55-gallon barrel drum type rib cages, and this one represents that. Her center body is super impressive, and I think she's just a good, honest breeding stock here, Mr. Liston.
Yeah, the Pullins up in Ohio do a great job on their spot program, and they've raised some really breed influential boars over the time. And this one here gives you that look that they always put into a unique look that has a really sharp, square skeleton, a huge chest floor in this one that's feminine. She handles her feet and legs good. Tremendous spotted female here.
Next gilt coming in will be lot 17. This is our reserve champion land race. Devin Cartmill has this one. It's a Dr. Strange. Back on a Cracker Jack sow. Bred by Joseph Hammonds.
Man, I like this one too. That is one big-legged landrace right there. I mean, so much stoutness and foot size and dimension there. Like if you're in Texas and really want to hit this San Antonio market as far as landrace, I feel like this is one that could do that. She's going to set you apart as far as just foot size and bone work within that breed, but also maintaining some mobility and some look as far as her side view. Probably one of the shorter-eared landraces we'll see, and I think that's definitely a good thing from my perspective, at least, as far as just getting them to be cooperative and getting them out in the ring and showing them.
Yeah, and maybe even buy her and breed her and win away next year. This thing here's got some potential to me, and big-bodied landrace, a really functional landrace that's maternal and got a great underline, loose-spined and can move. Just a really nice landrace gilt here to purchase.
Our next gilt coming in is lot 18. This is Madeline Gray. This gilt will be a big screen, custom made, bred by Team Sloan.
There's really a lot of neat things about this gilt. I thought she was one of the really interesting ones and good ones off her hip and hind leg during the show the other day. Really a massive kind of rear leg to her, really hairy, well presented gilt. Got a great skull and so much capacity to her rib cage. And I will say, relative to her breed, she's really maintained a really nice top line, a secure kind of loin dimension there, as you said, you're down her top.
Yeah, coming from the Sloan firm, this is how the famous sow, the Bougie sow, I think everybody knows about, and has done a tremendous job, and probably one of the more powerful Chester sows out there. She's just got a long laundry list of things that she's akin to or won. This gilt had a tremendous show career here all the way through, but certainly a gilt, as you look at her phenotypically, has got all the shag in the world on a big old forearm, and a gilt that takes a big old stride out of a big stout skeleton, a big deep-sided gilt that's really going to make a female. The tail root on this one's special, and I think as she goes across the ring here, she's impressive.
Certainly one of the unique animals that come through the Duroc show is Lot 19. This is Neely Pritchards Guilt. She's sired by the Wintex 312 boar, back on a main character sow, bred by Goss Livestock.
This is the type of red female that I love to see. When she comes through, she's broad in terms of her chest and just got so much shape to her shoulder and capacity in her rib cage. That gilt is really honest as far as muscle and a stoutness of feature is concerned. Then you turn to the paper and see that her mom's a main character. That really tells the story. That boar has worked as well as any boar in the country at my house in the last few years, and they all are so balanced in terms of their skeleton. They're three-dimensional in terms of their skeleton. And then paired with this 312 thing, which is off to a really, really good start, really speaks volumes for this particular gilt.
Unique breeding piece here as well, and one that just gives you sow power and power all the way through for his muscle, and one that's opened up extremely good. Get your hand around that tail, Brock. You'll have a handful. This one here is really sound, really square. I really like this one.
Next one coming in the ring here is Lot 20. This is our reserve champion, Herford, Lake and Abbott. This is a soldier boy, no diggity, bred by G3 Genetics, reserve champion, Herford Guilt.
Man, I love the pedigrees on these Herefords. There's a lot of creativity in those Hereford breeders, I think. And as you look at this gilt, her color pattern really stands out to me in a positive way. That's a neat color, really a big rib, muscular kind of gilt, one that represents the Hereford breed very, very well.
Yeah, a special Hereford Guilt here, I think, as you analyze her, and really got that show up front look to her. Gilt that's really good design from the side and level in her hip. She was the third overall gilt there at Coba, and got beat by her leader mate there, I think, the pair of them gilts. But this one here is just impeccable in her skeleton. Love her underline underneath this gal, and just a really, really good breeding piece here in the Hereford breed.
Lot 22 comes next, and this is your reserve champion, Poland, from Macklin Olson. She is a Blackbeard, Black Mamba, bred by McPherson Show Pigs.
Another really high quality gilt on the upper end of things here that is just the right kind. A big bodied, flexible, athletic kind of gilt that's got some width and power to her. And she's presented well, really has a high quality, high counting type of underline and a nice rear leg to go along with it. That's a really strong Poland gilt here to be reserved.
She was third overall Poland Guilt at the Tacoma show and in a tough Poland show there, I might add, and has had a great show career, looks like here, won about 5-6 breed champions along the way. This one here is feminine, guys. She's a Poland sow, deep in her side, but yet got body volume, perfect feet and legs. I think this one could make a front pasture sow for you.
Our next gilt to come in the ring is lot 23. This is your reserve champion, Yorkshire Guilt. She's an instant awe dominator and bred by Dan Harmison.
Well, I think a Yorkshire Guilt, it really comes from a program. Dan, I feel like for a long time has raised good, solid white crosses, good Yorkshires, and really goes back and forth in that deal. And I can appreciate the versatility of his hogs. They've got the right kind of length of body and muscle texture to them, and that's a testament to those good Yorkshires. That Guilt there has really got a really nice rear leg and a good look to her. Feminine kind of a skull. From my perspective, this is the right kind of Yorkshire female that looks like she'll lay down, raise high quality pigs time after time, and you'll get them sold very well.
Yeah, if you're looking for some Yorkshire sows, I think you really need to look into this sale lineup because I've seen several Yorks this year that kind of trip your trigger as you look at them and think about a purebred Yorkshire and what they can do. This one's so loose-spined and flexible all the way through. Her skeleton's impeccable, big-footed, big forearm. Just a really nice Gilt here.
Lot 24 is the next one in, Vivian Humphrey. Certainly one of my favorites in the sale. She's a buckle-up pawn star. Comes to us from Swecky Genetics. I think one here, real unreal one here to discuss.
Yeah, this one comes in very impressive in her moderate length that she has all the way through. This Gilt gives you a great look from the side. She's got a long, clean neck in her. She's level in her design. The breeder there, Mr. Goss, I think bred this one here. Swecky bred this one here, and she's got all the expensive pieces that you want, especially making baby pigs and making hogs popular nowadays. This one here has got some really cool pieces.
I think this one's neat from a pedigree perspective. There's a lot of Schwecky going on here, and I always think it's nice to be able to buy something that comes from a true breeding hog firm, and I think that helps when it comes to just kind of knowing and predicting what's about to come. That Gilt's look and design is outrageous and really looks kind of like what you'd expect given her pedigree.
The next Gilt here to hit the carpet will be lot 25. Again, Vivian Humphrey. This Gilt here is a money's on in game. She's bred by Goss Livestock.
Really a neat looking, super high quality Gilt here that comes next, and congratulations to Vivian. She had a really tremendous Gilt show here, and this Gilt, much like her other one, is really broad, really opened up, and comes from a firm that's as hot as anybody in the entire country.
Yeah, really power Gilt here. Love the root to her tail, comes up out of the real level hip there, and one that's got a barrel rib in her. She goes from the side here and opened up tremendously in that chest floor. I think just a real neat piece to lay back in the herd.
Here comes lot 26. Lexington Chappelle. This is a Glory Days Next Intention, bred by Hilty Show Pigs. Very, very unique individual here, Brock.
Man, this is one that as she came in, So many of us up there at the KV booth really turned to each other and thought, what in the world is that? She's got that black foot there on her front foot, and it just really sets her apart, along with just all the really neat things that she's got. I haven't seen many pigs out of that boar, and I was really excited to see some as we came here to the Oklahoma Youth Expo. And if those hogs have that kind of length of body and running gear and stoutness to them, they're going to be really, really exciting. And for those of you that may be interested in a potential show gilt to continue on down the road, this gilt was ready to show and mature in all the things here, but she's got a lot of life left to her, and I think would really be a nice one there to run into like a World Pork Expo type situation.
Really a breeding piece here, in my opinion. You check her feet out and her spreads her toe and the overall power she has at the ground, and yet she's a moderate made gilt that's very big topped and level hipped, and one that's just really fault and bulletproof right here. I think here's one that you can lie into here and make some really nice ones in future generations.
Yeah, the next one in here would be lot 27, and quickly become identified as the Blackheaded Guilt there throughout the crossbred show. This is Peyton Keenholtz. This gilt here is a money's on, bend the knee, bred by Goss Livestock. If that pedigree looks familiar to you, I think that is the mate to the boar that sold a premium blend there this last summer.
What more to say? Litter mates to the world record-selling crossbred boar pig. Then you look at this gilt, and you realize why she would be out of that particular litter. Really striking in terms of her look, but so powerful. She just looks like the type that Goss would raise relative to her bone and look and femininity up through her front end, but really massive relative to width, rib cage, and muscle. And then you combine that with the pedigree standpoint. The value on that one seems to be pretty high from my perspective.
Yeah, the homework's done here, looks like to me, and you already got the story written. All you got to do is get her purchased and bred, and I think you'll be in the chips.
Yeah, lot 28 comes in the ring. This is Case and Camp. This gilt here would be a Hero Trumpet, and comes to us bred by Wilbur Genetics. This is one of multiple gilts you'll see in the offering today there from Grant. Congratulations, him as a breeder. Very good female here.
You know, Grant and the entire firm there at Wilbur Genetics, they came to play here in this dark crossbred, or really the crossbred gilt show just in general. Those hogs really look very, very similar to me. They're all really mobile, all really, really heavy structured. And this gilt, as far as her genetics are concerned, she'd be a littermate sister to the patiently waiting boar standing at Hofschulte's that was purchased at Holy Smoke. The mother to this one just cranks them out time after time from Wilbur. It really has a following. So from a breeder's perspective, I feel like you can kind of rest assured there's a lot of real value and a lot of generating potential out of this particular gilt in lot 28.
Yeah, this one comes from Wilbur here out of the Perfect Timing cell, I believe, there. And this one here, skeleton's impeccable. She takes a big old long stride of a long hip, and that one there can move and really got a unique set to her neck as she comes out of her shoulder. Really, really like this one.
Next gilt here to come in is the eye-striking lot 29 here that Brooklyn Schedule exhibited. She's a picture of this, tricked out, bred by the Rotoball genetic team crew. Very, very unique female here, Brock.
Yeah, this one is a real standout from my perspective. I may sound like an old school breeder here, Mr. Liston, as this one comes in, but when that one's skull shape and look from the side and that kind of mobility combined with that level of underlying quality, that really gets me going, to be honest with you. I feel like you can take that gilt home next week when she comes in heat, put a rod in her breeder, and you can feel confident she's going to lay down, have a super nice litter of pigs that'll be ready to sell here next year, and we can bring a set of pigs back here to the Oklahoma Youth Expo with that kind of quality. From my perspective, I feel like that, and she comes from a really strong firm that's done it for a long period of time. So I think that's a really neat gilt that brings some things to the table that maybe most don't.
Yeah, I agree. That underline's about as good as I've seen on a crossbred gilt. I mean, it's evenly spaced and pretty impressive. Along with that, this gilt here's a litter mate to Selfie at Top Cut. Her mom's a mate to Bag of Tricks at Premium Blend, and it's also a mate to the Winners Reserve Supreme Cross Gilt at 23 OYE, sold for $80,000. So there's a backstory on this one as well, along with a great gilt to purchase.
We're now doing lot 30 Berkshire Guilt. This is Caroline Kinney. This Guilt here would be sired by the top shelf boar back on an about time sow and bred by PVB Berkshires.
Man, it has been a minute since I've looked at mini Berkshires, just because that's just not my thing. But this is the third Berkshire Guilt that's walked through here, and she's insane. That is an incredibly good and high quality set of Berkshires, and I think that's something that I think is important to note because the breed I feel like is in a good spot right now. There's